And that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun.
So when we go into things like the history, they're showing you that these things are going to happen again, but on modern day scale.
Yeah.
And that's the part that you people don't understand, because the hearts of the people are more wicked than they've ever been. More wicked than they've ever been. The judgment and the punishment have to be fitting to that level.
They don't think Esau didn't have torturing devices back then. The Babylonians didn't have. So how much more today? Esau has all kind of weapons and ways to torture you, and they're going to use it. They're not just putting it up in a museum for nothing, or putting it in a museum for people to admire it. No, they're going to use all these weapons.
And I know y'all saw all those tanks moving into New York, moving into LA, all them Humvees. Esau, you think, in the midst of a pandemic, right? You thinking that, okay, we need to accumulate resources so that we can actually help aid the people in their health. But these motherfuckers is setting up like ISIS is already here. Yeah. Like the Iranian forces secretly didn't crept through Canada or Mexico, and they didn't invade Babylon or something, man. A million troops?
Right.
Yeah. Like we're occupied by Russian or whatever else people already.
Man, it's about to be a war, man. That's an upstanding army that Esau is bringing in. You don't bring in those type of troops unless you're getting ready to do something warlike.
Where you at right now, bro?
Matthew 24.
Hold that 1 second, Bob. Somebody give me Luke 14, around 28 or so.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out how you're going to take out a virus. With tanks and Humvees and
I know a way, bro.
riot gear. Best.
You kill those that got the virus.
I mean, troops are there to fight people. Like, you don't send troops to a war to fight a virus or something that's... No, you send the troops to fight something that potentially can fight back.
How do you bring in troops to fight a virus? No one caught on to that. Read that by yourself.
It's Luke chapter 14, verse 28. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first, and counting the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Lest haply, after he had laid the foundation, and is not able to finish it, all that behold, it began to mock him.
Yeah, it's 31. It's like, go ahead.
Saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king?
This is the point right here. What king, the modern day king of America, is the president? Go ahead.
Or what king, going to war against another king, set it not down first, and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him?
Do I at least have 10,000 men ready to fight? This man just went and got 100,000. So how serious is a war? If you have to have
a million.
A million. It's a lot.
That's 20,000 troops per state. But, obviously bigger states are going to have more troops.
Right. The point being, this man's not fucking around. This king is not fucking around with you people. 1 million troops?
This ain't about no virus, man.
Fuck no. Now that was the point I wanted. The point just saying, like, as a king, you have to consider, do I have this amount of troops around to go and pull as a resource to push my agenda right? So have him having 1 million, how bad is that? Okay? Yeah. You people are about to be under war. We've been warning you about this shit. They're about to shut it. There will be a tank on these streets. Okay? For you, the tanks are set up against you. Who is the tank supposed to stop? A horde of people that have the coronavirus like zombies walking around? No, it's for you everyday American people. It's the same people that they've given that virus into. But why are they treating you, instead of treating you, they're treating you as if you're enemy combatant.
Done.
I was watching something, and all the major highways in America were built with intent to transport military, for the military to take over one day. That's what they were built for.
That's what the German Autobahn was created for. It was created for, the troops of Nazi Germany, the tanks, the different Humvees and stuff like that.
That's why
these highways was created, man.
That's why the laws, especially on the Autobahn, don't fit the same restrictions as Germany, because it wasn't designed for everyday transportation of traffic. It was meant to move those troops around and the fastest, to get there fast.
In the ancient world, you had
the trains.
Yeah, in the ancient world, you actually had actual highways, and it was meant like if there was a particular country, that were allies with another country that wasn't close by, they would have servants create or build a highway in between them, so that when before they would go to war, they would have a highway to be able to transport to each other. If they need servants or if they need more soldiers, troops, we need to get weapons to you or anything like that. They had the highway for it.
If you look at the stimulus bill, all the stuff they had hidden in that stimulus bill was to take away the rights, away the rights of you Americans, everyday Americans, just to do martial law, start martial law.
You guys missed that part of the reading.
In these states, these highways are built to be. You look on a map. There's one way in the state, one way out. Everyone don't got no off-road vehicles. So majority of people don't have off-road vehicles. So it's so simple to block these states off. Out here it's the 15. The 10 runs all the way from California all the way to Florida. Yeah. So that's how Esau built it. Esau didn't build it built this place for the convenience of you people.
He just allowed you to use it.
Yeah.
Kind.
Go ahead, BZ, with what you had.
Kind.
Matthew 24 and 19, the point is 21. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time.
Show me the last movie besides The Road that there was a young child or a baby involved. When there was a young child and baby in these times, it's all trouble. You gonna go through it having a newborn, all the way up to toddler, all the way up to a young child. If the people that are with you are not above the age of at least 10, you're gonna have troubles. That The Road showed it. The whole issue with the problem in the movie The Road was he was protecting the boy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Art.
Verse 21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be.
And there's never been a time that's coming like the time that we're going into now. But this will be the last time that we ever go through some shit like this. So shouldn't it be the worst? We're in the worst case scenario anyway. It might as well be the worst case situation to handle, to judge it. Because this is the worst condition of the people. Everything's the worst, so he's got to do it. The Most High has to do his worst to put your people in fear forever. The world will be in fear of Yahweh forever after this event. Okay? We don't even bring up often, but we touch on it. Leviathan's gonna be out here. To say it in a way that you can understand, a dinosaur is gonna be doing handiwork for the Lord. We know that there's a dinosaur out here fucking up shit. You go into the water, there's dinosaurs and shit. There's missiles from World War III. The skies are flooded with so-called UFOs, the chariots of the Most High. Okay? When has all of this ever happened? That was it, right?
This is Luke chapter 19 and 41. And when this is speaking about the Lord. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong to thy peace. But now they are hid from thine eyes. For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee.
A siege gonna round about you, lock you in and siege you.
And compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side.
And then what we did to Jericho, we marched around Jericho
Kind.
day after day, and then the last day, you know, that's how you besiege a city. That's what they're doing now. They've got you where you're not just interrupting shit, so they got you in the house. They're gonna set up the checkpoints where they want them, which they've been flying around with helicopters, pinpointing these and mapping out the cities. They're looking at it literally like a maze that they have figured out, that you people can't see from that above angle.
And they break it down into those FEMA zones too.
And they break it down into the zones of a city, but then they break it down regionally into the country that you can't go into. And it's basically the regions of your zip code, starting with 0 on the East Coast and ending with 9 on the West Coast. All right?
And really, all these states that make up America are their own countries in itself.
Yeah.
You know, because they all have their own state laws that differ from each other. You notice the laws are different in different states.
Where it say this state passed this law, this
Yeah.
state passed this law. Like well,
That's why marijuana is not in all
Kind.
states.
Kind.
Yeah.
You know?
So if you leaving from one state to another, that's like really going to like another country.
Kind. Hey, and that even because especially when you look at like when in the times where the North and the South were so-called separated,
Yeah.
each state, you know, they had their specialized rules. Something that went down in Arkansas couldn't necessarily be ran in Georgia.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
It's like that's why Jake had to stay up
In the North.
in
Yeah.
the north because you know you went down past that Mason-Dixon line,
Yeah.
your ass was captured and you was a slave again.
Yep. Kind.
You know.
So that's why, you know, with this whole quarantine situation, some of these states that have low cases, they're not gonna tolerate anybody coming
Yeah.
from
Kind.
epicenters. You coming from any of the epicenters in the country, you happen to come from that area, we're not gonna tolerate you
Kind.
coming and spread that shit over here.
That's right.
You know, so and that's what's happening right now. They're setting up checkpoints at almost, and it's looking like it's getting ready to happen in all states, where they finna basically set up shop at each state border to make sure people from other states are not getting in. I just heard that they set up one at the Florida-Alabama border, and also they're reporting that anybody entering into Texas from Louisiana, you're going to be quarantined for 14 days.
Texas, Louisiana, California, Washington, Florida, of course, New York.
Those are all epicenters.
Epicenters. And you look, if you look at the map and see where they're positioned, bam, 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 Texas in the middle.
Kind.
You know. And
So you're not going to be able to get, you can leave Colorado if you want because it's not there,
And go
but you can't go to California.
when somebody got their smartphone, go to that same verse, Luke 19 and 23, trench. Look up the word trench.
Let him
19 and 43.
the same scripture.
Yeah, go to that scripture and look up trench.
the word trench is
And that's the
And then
thing.
somebody look up the word, shit, I got it. The word circumvallation.
corrects. Rocks.
That's close to that.
Yeah,
word,
kind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's where it derives from, right?
It says a
Kind.
pale, a stake, a palisade,
Kind.
a palisade
Which is
or
basically
rampart.
when you put enough palisades or stakes in the ground,
Kind.
you do it for a certain amount of time in a certain distance. You it's basically like you're building a fence.
Kind becomes enclosed.
So you can enclose
Yeah, kind.
that
It's like,
area.
It's like how they used to do in the medieval times where they would have a trench around their castles. What is it called? A moat. A moat.
Yeah.
Similar to that.
To barricade you.
Yeah, protect.
You know?
That's like the GPS digital fencing, because with the GPS they put all these stakes in the ground,
Yeah.
and that's why everything is on 5G and everything, internet.
Connected to you're connected to that same frame of there, those points of reference to mark down the latitude, longitude.
All right, what does it say?
A palisade, a rampart, pales between which earth,
I
stone,
think palisade and rampart means like edge, like the end of something, like the boundary almost. I think so.
pales between which earth, stones, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together.
Yep. A fence, basically a wall.
Packed together. Yeah.
Like on 300 when they built that wall of dead bodies.
Oh, kind.
Yeah, that's first showing you what that is. Why they do that? So the troop couldn't come from that way, or couldn't go that way. So they had to be funneled into fighting those troops, where the numbers wouldn't matter as much.
What does it say in the Strong's definition?
Caruso, to sharpen to a point akin to G1125, through the idea of scratching a stake, i.e. the implication of a palisade, a rampart, military mound for circumvention in a siege.
Circumvallation.
Circumvallation, it's like
In a siege.
trench.
Somebody look up circumvallation.
I got it.
Yeah, I bet circle means around. We
Yeah,
know that.
kind.
Circumvallation.
Like vent. That's how. Yeah.
Investment in the military process of surrounding an enemy fort with armed forces to prevent entry or escape.
Kind.
There it is.
Yeah.
It serves both to cut communications with outside
wall.
world
Whoa.
and to prevent.
The wall
That's
of Mexico wall.
Kind.
Listen, we was gonna say it because it's really describing shit now,
That's
70
what's
AD,
happening. Yeah.
Babylonian
Babylon.
siege.
Yeah.
It says it serves both to cut off communication with outside world and to prevent supplies and reinforcements from being introduced.
Wow. What are you people? Are you not entertained? Like, damn. Have we not proven that we're the prophets? Gee,
And it's
what more do we need to say?
circumvallation, it says it's a military term.
It's a military term.
Kind.
So once again,
Yeah.
what are those 1 million troops about to do? What are these checkpoints for?
Right.
Come on, man.
I got a precept on 10, talking
Yeah,
about
10
FEMA reasons.
I was trying to remember where that was at.
Revelation 11 and 13. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. Which is the 10 FEMA zones that's broken up in America.
And once they divided it up, which if you look at where those checkpoints are at, the brother was naming, that breaks down the whole regions. It serves as a hub, if you will, to branch out and lock off all these regions. Like an epicenter to lock off the regions of that FEMA zone.
And I bet if you look at the map, there is an epicenter in each FEMA region.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I like to see where those were particularly put at. I bet they're right near where they're going to cut it from the next from the next region.
And the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, which is the thermonuclear missiles, and the remnant were affrighted, which are the elect, and gave glory unto Yahweh of heaven.
And they make videos out there on YouTube that talk about America becoming like Nazi Germany. Well, here you go. Here you go. This is how, because what happened with Nazi Germany? They shut the city off so they can completely control it right before the war. What do you think they're doing now? So all the resources have to go into to the country to fight the war that they're about to go be thrusted into.
Kind.
Same thing with here. Now think about it. If all these regions are shut off and they do a draft,
Yeah.
The FEMA regions.
That's
It's
right
not,
there,
it's not a
look.
coincidence that they're
Exactly,
setting
bro.
up
Yeah.
checkpoints at each of these the borders of each of these FEMA regions.
These are literally where the I don't know if the camera can see it, but these are literally where the different zip codes break down at. The first number of the zip codes change
And I
right around there.
guarantee in within a week, if not already, each FEMA region will have a hot zone.
Right.
California is part of one region. Seattle, Washington was a hot spot. Texas, Louisiana is on the same one. Florida, that southeast region. Of course, New York, the whole tri-state area. Chicago, the Midwest. Kansas City. And they have like a dot on there denoted. I mean, for each one, it's like a main city. Like Denver, Seattle, Oakland, Denton, Atlanta.
That's why the scriptures always talk about how those that be in the cities is what's going to catch total hell in the cities. A lot of the evils that we get ready to see, a lot of it's going to be happening in these major cities. Man.
East Coast, they got people stacked on top of each other.
That's
So it makes it even that much more worse. And then let's not forget, they just began gentrifying those neighborhoods too. Jake's neighborhoods. Now Edomite and Jake is right next door to each other. Ready to let loose. So now you're trapped in this region for the resources in the region. It's about to be all out race war, man. So they're going to have to control this because they see it happening. They're going to have to try to control it. That's what those million troops are for. And while they got them, they might as well enforce other shit.
Con.
You know?
And a lot of these Edomites, like they live in the suburbs. I saw the video that Vice did where you got Edomites that live in the suburbs that are paying for private security to basically block them from people coming their way, looking for food, looking for supplies.
That's what these gated communities
That's
were
what that's
always
about.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
They understood that they would have to. They don't want you niggas wandering off into the neighborhood.
Because it ain't about gated communities. Yeah, they keep burglars out or people. It ain't about that. It's because people get their houses broken into all the time in gated communities.
Yep.
It's to keep those mobs and mass people out.
Yep. And what he say on cell therapy, the brother posted last night, right? I don't know if the gate was to keep crime out or to keep our ass in.
Yeah.
You have to consider both. There was an image where Obama talked about the FEMA camps. They had come down to our facility. They had the barbed wire faced in.
Yeah. So
On the drawing. It was a drawing, but they had the barbed wire faced in.
at the Denver airport, they have barbed wire and it's
Faced in.
Yeah.
You ain't getting that.
And the airports are going to be what they considered a concentration camp because it's already a secured perimeter where you have you have the barbed wire fence, you got the runway, and it's and plenty of space to see someone trying to escape.
And don't they have at the Mexico-California border? They actually have fences that have like multiple barbed wire, layers of barbed wire around it. And I think there was an image that was showed how they have them actually inward instead of like on Mexico side. It's actually on the American side. So basically you ain't getting out of
But they say
America.
it's about
You're going to Mexico.
But they say it's about Mexicans coming in though. Get the fuck out of here.
Come on,
Nobody,
man.
who's stupid? Who's stupid?
And then you got Issachar down there like, hey, no Americans
Yeah,
coming to
con.
this motherfucker, man. They was like, y'all ain't, hey, for the first time in history, they like, nah, y'all not coming this way. And we not finna go up there, you know? We'll be all right in the Vadios.
Hey,
Y'all motherfuckers, y'all can die.
We told y'all.
Yeah.
We told them that, hey, eventually Mexico gonna realize that they ain't gonna be coming up here no more.
You ain't gonna want to come up
In
here.
Mexico, they're going to realize that they're in a better position down there than here in America, than us here in America.
It sounds foolish.
Second Ezra 15.
I got it.
When it talks about you try to run from, basically you're gonna be running into, like, if you escape the sword, you're gonna
Oh yeah, con.
famine, or you escape the famine, the sword hits you.
15.
I think it's like in
20, 30 something.
15 maybe.
16.
You had a lot of Issachar, and it wasn't just Issachar. It was like a lot of those, Zebulonites, Central Americans, South Americans that was fleeing through Mexico to try to come up here. That was what, months ago.
Yeah.
They should have never made that move.
Yeah,
And now you came up here to catch all that hell, and now look,
All the ones that were the dreamers and all that shit.
came up here, and now it's
1622.
Kind of get destroyed.
yeah.
Is this the one that you told about 1622?
Said, flee from the lion.
There's
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I got it right there.
Oh, no, that's
It's a similar
similar,
one.
yeah,
Almost
kind of.
right. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 22. Yep, it says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Yeah. You try to flee from one situation, it's gonna be led right to another, man.
And they already showing those refrigerated trucks. Those refrigerated trucks aren't about being keeping people cool while they get tested. No, those are for dead bodies.
Kind.
Those are for the dead bodies.
And they already had refrigerated trucks up in Canada because so many Edomites are ODing on them oils. They said they had no more room in the morgues. You know, the morgues were renting refrigeration trucks to store the bodies.
Then once they fill it up, drive that away and bring up another. Because watch what I'm about to read next.
Because eventually, those bodies in those refrigerated trucks, they say, man, take those motherfuckers
Dump.
over somewhere in a barn or somewhere in a ditch, burn them up, bury it, and then bring the truck back, fill it up again.
So many bodies that they gotta throw out. Let me read the scripture. The scripture
Bro,
said
they
this.
showed you in the movies, they show you in the movies how was Contagion. They were running out of those body bags.
That and in Walking Dead.
Yeah, yep.
They had them all lined up in the back of the hospital, outside, just outside. It says, verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. Yep,
Cities being cast down.
right, broken down. They're breaking these cities down.
All these businesses shut down.
Kind.
You know, layoffs. So that's basically taking away the economy of that particular state.
You gotta think about how these cities are being shut down. These big buildings, these big government buildings, they're gonna be used as possible concentration camps, big department stores, concentration camps, where they can store and house multiple people.
Malls.
Malls, shopping malls. Yeah. No.
Where, bro?
More Skeletors are going to be on the rise here in America, man.
God, bro.
You know, hey.
And it wouldn't be fitting if we were out here and the demons wasn't circling.
Yeah.
They know what time it is.
Kind.
They ready to get loose on you people. They mad that we wanted you. They ready to just pounce on you people, man. That spirit that's coming in the earth, that second spirit that he was talking about in Ezekiel the 9th chapter, that's ready to let loose, man.
Kind.
That's ready. That's like a fucking caged beast ready to be let out. And the Most High is holding it back with the four edges of the four winds. Right now, that destruction is about to go through the earth, man.
Kind.
You people are not protected or not prepared for what's coming.
I got second Ezra 15, but
We're still reading it, right?
yeah, well, I can start.
And that whole chapter.
Yeah, whole chapter.
Right.
Wait, so hold that.
We going to.
Yeah.
Hold that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where you want me to start.
We're in that time now. We're just now entering into that chapter. Those two chapters.
In these times, brothers, it's so first one I got 2nd Ezra 15, 16.
Yeah, every reader
Just
just
somebody
they
knows.
just holding on to it.
Yeah,
Just hold-
it's
It's
just
book-
looking
it's
for
bookmarked.
precepts to
Yeah.
it.
I know
Brothers
eventually
say
I'm
something,
gonna
pull
bring
a
it out.
precept out of it, yeah?
You got to, man.
It's that real. That's where the answer's at.
Kind.
But we wouldn't be prophets if we didn't bring it out.
Kind.
So, let's not get into 2nd Ezra 15. No, the Spirit is always going to bring, especially in these times, is always going to bring us to 2nd Ezra 15 and 16.
Kind.
Go ahead with your precept.
The book of James, chapter 4, verse 9. Be afraid and mourn and weep. let your laughter be turned into mourning.
And when them Skeletors pounce on you people ain't gonna be laughing.
Con.
You gonna be mourning. And you gonna be scared as shit. Hey, when that second movie, The Purge, the second one, Anarchy, I think it is. What happened when The Purge went off and they realized somebody's at the door knocking? The SA had the big gun at the door knocking. When they kicked the door in, all that laughter that was happening before he started knocking and shit, that went out the window. They were scared as shit. When the trucks hit the building, they were scared as shit. This is coming. This is coming. All right? They're not just in these movies to say, just for entertainment, man. These movies really are pushing out messages.
Con.
Bro, you keep saying Skeletors and crackheads and shit. You got inmates too.
Yeah, con, bro.
Released.
Woo.
Yeah. Hey, they're already releasing some. Hey, there's famous people in jail that's trying to get out because of the coronavirus. So how much more they start letting
R.
them
Kelly.
out? Yeah, R. Kelly was out to get out, right? I'm scared of the coronavirus. Let me out.
Even Takashi.
Yeah, Tekashi.
Tekashi too.
Tekashi might be
He
safe
might as well just go.
He might as
to
well.
Death Row.
No, he needs to just stay where he's
Yeah.
at.
Yeah, it's the safest place where he's at, or go kill
Die
himself.
quicker.
Yeah.
Get
In
let
the
out.
streets, it's a wrap. There's warnings on this nigga's head.
Hey, but hey, that's good for you niggas too.
Yeah.
Con.
All you sellouts and entertainers now, you want to get scared now.
Con.
And your joy into heaviness. And 10. Humble yourselves in the sight of Yahweh,
That's right.
and he shall lift you up.
Yeah. But y'all not gonna take heed to that. Only the elect are gonna take heed to that. All right?
And he said, humble yourself. And to humble yourself before the Most High is to fear him.
Con.
To fear the Most High. To fear what he can do to you. You know? Fear that, know that he's the one that's doing all this. 'Cause they don't think, like I said, they don't think that the Most High is doing all this. They think it's Esau. They think it's the government. No, it's the Heavenly Father. That was it, bro.
Yeah, he works through men.
Yeah.
Con.
You know, he used man to create things. Hey, and some of the stuff that's beyond the control of man is normally the angels
Con.
who's out on assignment from the spiritual world.
It's doing the will of the Heavenly Father.
Yeah, man. Like, hey, just recently you had a big ass tornado that hit the Midwest, and there was a lot of lightning and hailstorm that passed through the Midwest, tearing shit up, man. They had big giant ass golf ball size hail, man. You know,
That break your windshield.
shit, damn near give you a concussion, man. But the Lord sending twisters. We're in the midst of a pandemic. Plagues is hitting this place,
Right.
and in the midst of that, the Lord's sending tornadoes and shit, earthquakes and stuff.
Con.
Hey, when he said, I will give you. Oh, you start there, bro. You start up at the top.
Start at the top.
Yeah, because
All these are different evils that the Lord is bringing on the earth, especially here in Babylon, man.
The second Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people of prophecy.
So the Heavenly Father told us to come out here and tell you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and those that are scattered amongst the other nations that may even look like the other nations, to warn you about He's coming. He's coming to the earth and all the evils that are coming to the earth to warn you, all right, about this day of the Lord, all right, when He sends His Son back. All right, go ahead.
Which I put in thy mouth, saith the Lord.
Which He put in our mouths to prophesy these things unto the whole world, to all the nations. Go ahead.
And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
And He said, hey, be sure about it because it's going to happen. And surely as He said it, they are surely coming to pass. Go ahead.
And fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee.
Don't worry about the disbelief of the people. This shit's going to go down. And it is. Go ahead.
That speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
Continue.
Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
And He's going to bring all these calamities and these perils to the world, and you people got to deal with them. The problem is, if you don't have the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua to help you in that, which means the angels help, divine intervention, the wisdom of the spirit, nor the spirit itself to guide you in certain situations, then you're gonna be asked out. Well,
For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth.
and it's never polluted the earth as a time like now. That's why you have to bring the plagues and the tribulation upon the world greater to 50 times.
Yeah, the pride of man is too high in the earth.
Kind.
Right now. And it's not that they have righteous pride. No, they having pride and carrying on in their wickedness, man.
And like nothing can happen.
They acting like there's not a creator in the heavens that's watching everything.
Kind.
And there's no consequences for their actions, the wicked works.
No evil,
No sentence.
no sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. The hearts of the sons of men are fully set in them to do evil.
Kind.
And because of that, the Heavenly Father is like, your pride is too high. I'm gonna have to knock you down and humble you.
Wickedness
That's
is,
the trouble.
just mass wickedness is a result of high pride. Like it tells you in Sirach, the 10th chapter, the beginning of pride is when one depart from his maker. Man. You depart from him. So ultimately, that's what you see is happening in the earth. Because the leaders of these nations, they've been puffed up. Because they've been eating deliciously. They've been committing spiritual fornication with Babylon. Right, taking in Esau's democracy and philosophies, had everybody just out their mind. But now, since that happened, now the Lord is totally just bringing devastation. And everybody that got the Lord's chosen people in their possession, they're getting plagued right now. We're scattered amongst all nations. So of course, because we're found in your hands, when we get punished, you're going to be punished too. That's why Jacob's trouble is not just for Jacob. Right? That Rona is going all across the board. You think those places where those locusts is that? There's running in swarms, just taking out whole entire farms and fields. You better believe there's Jakes over there too.
Jacob's all over.
Everywhere. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'll read it again. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, saith the Lord, I will.
The Heavenly Father's had enough of the hurtful works of the earth. He's had enough of it. And you people are if you're not adding into the spirit of Yahweh to exalt Him, then you're sowing wickedness out here, and He gotta get you on that side. If you're not gathering, then you're scattering. Okay, go ahead.
I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous
And
blood.
look at what this quarantine has done. It's cutting a lot of these people off from the wicked gatherings and different revelings that you partake in.
Banqueting.
Yep, it's canceling a lot of those breeding grounds for wickedness and situational wickedness that you guys commit openly.
Scriptures talk about how Jake be quick to run to mischief.
Yep.
Shed innocent blood. So it's actually this quarantine, this lockdown, is actually it's actually doing a good thing.
Yeah.
Even though it's uncomfortable and it's really like a punishment, but look what it's preventing.
It's a punishment for these 2/3 niggas out here in the world.
To go do
For the men of the Lord, we straight.
Kind.
We're not worried about missing shit that's going on in the world. That this in your home is probably the safest place you could be in these times.
But you know what, Jake? and I did a lesson on that. Jake can literally take this time while they're in the house. Here in Las Vegas, they still able to have a little bit of this kind of liberty where they can still do shit like that. But pretty soon Esau finna cut all that shit. He finna cut all that shit. Jay gonna be rolling out here, you know, they little biker gang, proud as hell, man. Making all the noise, you know, everywhere they go and shit.
It was all Jake's.
That was all Jake right there.
They was gathering over at that 7-Eleven. I saw earlier.
That's what,
Still.
I forgot my initial point.
I was remembering your point. You said your point was they should take the time. You did a lesson on it. They should take the time.
This is the time that they should be literally trying to seek their higher power, man. This is the time where they can be, you know, searching and seeking. And they can be doing something productive. They can try to increase in their knowledge and understand, you know, what their agenda, their enemy, you know, what it is that this devil got in stores for them. Jake have ample time to really like check everything out. Like, you ain't gotta go to work, or you ain't gotta, you know, ain't shit you can really do. You're basically literally on the internet all day. You're on the internet all day. You would think Jake would use that leisure time to try to really get understanding. But instead, Jake's so goddamn bored, they're complaining, and they're coming up with fucking degenerate ass vines and challenges. They're not doing nothing productive at all, man.
What's that coronavirus challenge?
Oh, it was licking the toilet.
Yeah, come on.
Bro, it's Jakes out there that I spoke to Jakes, and they going in all around the truth right there in the middle. They going all around looking for everything, a little example to try to make make sense of what's going on, but the truth. You know, they'll look for, you know, it's a government conspiracy, it's that, it's this. Hey, the truth is right there, but Jake don't want to see. They got, you said they on the internet all fucking day.
The blinders on, bro. Television, they don't want to see.
And this truth is
They're in
everywhere.
gross darkness, man.
Yes.
They're in darkness. And they don't want to come into the light.
Because the deeds, that's the deeds.
Yeah.
And the light of the truth is blinding them, so they're like, oh, don't go in there, it's too bright. Instead, here where it's comfortable and dark, and I can't see half the shit that's really happening.
Instead of searching out, all right, at the time of a pandemic, what must I do? What herbs and supplements I can take to help keep my immune system built up, to boost my immune system. You know, why are we, you know, the times that we're coming into, you know, why is this happening? Matter of fact, those Israelites have been talking about these things. Let me go and search up a couple of videos and see what they have to say. Let me get into the scripture. They saying that Bible sales at an all-time high right now. They're flying off the shelves. And I guarantee you it ain't niggas that's buying it. There's probably a lot of these Edomites in the Bible Belt. They're probably buying the scriptures. You know? And it even tells you in Ezekiel how the children of strangers, you know, if they are, basically they would hearken. If I were to come to them, they would hearken. Jake don't consider at all. Instead, Jake want to complain about how, you know, he ain't getting it. You know, he ain't got his liberties right now. He can't go to the strip club and spend $1,000 at once. So instead, you know, I'm gonna just have some sluts, you know what I'm saying, degrade themselves on social media and eat each other out and show their pussy. You know, just send some money to their cash app and they'll show their pussy on the internet. So that's what they're doing right now. We got other Jakes, let's do the smoke up challenge. You know, let's roll up and see how many of us all across the country can roll up at the same time and blow smoke. It's stupid ass shit, man. It's highlighted the true degeneracy of Jakes. That's why we ain't gonna give two shits when he saw bullshit.
That's right.
19, they push fluid in your lungs, man. So niggas is smoking, destroying their lungs. So these niggas bugged out, man. They need death, man. They're not intelligent.
That's the only remedy being death.
Ezekiel chapter 3, I'm going to stop at verse 5. Yes, verse 5 it says, "And thou art now sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not too many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou canst understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee."
Yeah, you got heathens that know that these scriptures is true. Edomites.
Yeah, God.
They see what's going on, man. They be the main ones. Besides the prophets, they be the main ones putting up videos going into exposing Esau's conspiracies and his agendas, and they'll even put scriptures in their
Yeah,
videos.
what's Jason A?
Yeah, you know. But how many niggas is going into that, man?
And here's the messed up part. It's aiming particularly for you niggas. I mean, low-level Edomites and the heathen or whatever. Yeah, you're gonna get hit with it, but it's gonna really overtake you niggas, man. This stuff is really set up to really truly destroy you, because you're the useless bottom feeders now.
God.
That nobody in the world wants no more. Nobody wants to deal with you no more, because you're uncontrollable, you're wild, and it's just easier to destroy you than to leave you living around. That's why they'd rather kill you off. A little more on that. Verse 7 it says, "But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impotent and hard-hearted," which is a true moniker to who our people are, a true identifier of our people. Our people are the hardest to convince of this thing, even knowing the terror of the Lord. Our people still don't care.
God.
They find any excuse to turn their life into mirth, to find an occasion to do mirth and wickedness, versus hearing the law and the truth of the Heavenly Father and trying to follow after righteousness and protect themselves.
Jake still want to party anytime of adversity.
Yep.
You know, here it is. We just got released out of Egypt. 400 years of hardcore slavery, solitude, servitude. Getting our backs flipped and putting pyramids together. Catching total hell, man. We come out of the wilderness, and we're not sure if we're gonna live. There's no food there. You're just in the desert. But Mosai hitting them with all type of miracles, feeding them with manna and oil and
Water from the rock.
water from the
coming
rock.
out of nowhere, yeah.
And then what do these niggas do? They take all the gold that the Lord allowed them
Yeah,
to
Take
take out of Egypt, and these niggas
Build a goal.
build a golden calf and basically have a party.
These
niggas want to party. They came out and started partying, man,
While Moses is up
and
there,
worshiping an idol.
Yeah. While Moses is up there getting the law to give to these niggas, man.
Getting the
Done.
instruction.
Yeah. And then that's the spirit of Jake. Jake is impatient.
Yep.
And Moses is up there taking too long.
How long gonna be?
How long you gonna be up there? We want to talk to the Most High ourselves. Niggas, man.
That's how we know it's not you niggas buying those Bibles.
God.
That's how we know it ain't you, because you don't want to hear what the word gotta say.
It's all bad news.
You hoping everything just goes back to the way it was, so you
Yeah.
can continue being niggas.
Slaves. Niggas are slaves.
You know,
And willing slaves.
when they continue to go finesse niggas, rob them, set up little schemes so you can get money flown to your account. You want to go and sell some bootleg ass J's and DVDs and mixtapes and shit. Work your little bullshit ass jobs.
Work on your rap career.
Promote your album.
Album for your
Yeah.
rap career.